training the mind to behave. In one sense, to control the mind is to train it to behave. It is like catching a wild horse and turning it into a circus horse to do feet to order. How is it done? Swami Vivekananda teaches, before we can control the mind, we must study it. We have to seize this unstable mind and drag it from its wandering and fix it on one idea. Over and over again, this must be done. By power of will, we must get hold of the mind and make it stop and reflect upon the glory of God. The easiest way to get hold of the mind is to sit quiet and let it drift where it will for a while. Hold fast to the idea, I am the witness, watching my mind drifting. The mind is not I. Then see a thing as if it were a thing entirely apart from yourself. Identify yourself with God, never with matter or with the mind. Picture the mind as a calm lake stretched before you, and the thoughts that come and go as bubbles rising and breaking on its surface. Make no efforts to control the thoughts, but watch them and follow them in imagination as they floating away. This will gradually lessen the circles, for the mind ranges over wide circles of thought, and those circles wide out into every increasing circles, as in a pond when we throw a stone into it. We want to revise the process and starting with a huge circle make it narrow until at last we can fix the mind on one point and make it stay there. Hold to the idea, I am not the mind. I see that I am thinking. I am watching my mind act. And each day, the identification of yourself with the thought and feeling will grow less, until at last you can entirely separate yourself from the mind and actually know it to be part from yourself. When this is done, the mind is your servant to control as you will. The first stage of being a yogi to go beyond the senses. When the mind is conquered, he has reached the highest stage. We shall be surprised to see when we begin this practice how many hideous thoughts will come to our mind. As practice continues, the turbulence of the mind may increase for some time, but the more detached from our mind we shall find it possible to feel ourselves, the less will be its prang. Gradually, its vigorous will lose all vigor under the penetrating gaze of the observer, and finally the mind will become like a circus horse, vigorous but disciplined. We should for some time deliberately watch our minds every day at regular intervals, and this should continue as long as the mind needs to be taught how to behave.